Who's ready for that one podcast?
Get a day job! What the hell is that?
This is BS. You guys shouldn't be saying this about me.
The fuck is that thing? That's not Kermit.
Alright, that's enough. That's enough. I'm bringing out your host. His name is The Rob Brown. Bunch of BS. You shouldn't be saying that shit about me.
Welcome to another That One podcast. It is with me, the R-O-B, Rob Brown, spelled like the color. How are you today? I'm starting off right off the bat with something that I did for myself, because that's what the podcast is all about, doing stuff for yourself. I got my ears pierced. So this has been something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, like a very, very long time. And I got, let's see, where does it start? It starts with where I was maybe 19 was when I started wanting to get my ears pierced. And I got magnet earrings when I was around 20. So I would wear magnet earrings around. So when we would go to parties, I would say to myself, I'm going to wear the magnet earrings. So then it was like, so I don't get my ears pierced. Because I really liked the feeling of it. I also liked how I looked. Not the feeling of it, because then it's like, because the magnets used to just press on your earlobes. Where it was like a magnet back and then the magnet on the front. And the earrings were always so big, so you couldn't really see any, like, it was just a big diamond, and it looked out of place. So this time around, they're like the smallest ones that you can get, which is, I don't know the size, I'm going to be honest, because it was done at the American Dream Mall, my favorite mall, and the only mall I really go to, because it's just so big and it has so much to it. I love it. But they have multiple places of getting your ears pierced, and I wanted to get it done, and it was way more expensive than I thought it was going to be. I went with my girlfriend, and I thought it was going to be like $20 for the earrings. Literally. I thought it was going to be like $20, $30, something easy, nice set of earrings, and the piercing would be free. No. It was not that at all. It said free piercing, but then the earrings were like $60, and I was like, ooh, okay. And look, you may be saying to yourself, why are you moaning at $60? People, I am rubbing two pennies together right now, which is funny to me. And you know what's funny about that? Rubbing two pennies together, that means my money is inexistent. Like, you can't use it because it's a penny. I'm also learning that. We'll talk about the penny in a second, but back to the ears pierced, because I get in there, I sign a waiver. I don't know why. At first, I didn't know why I had to sign a waiver. I learned later, because they use this gun on your ear where it goes like, it's not that like, it's more like a, all right, they're not going to shoot your lobe multiple times like gang, 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 bang, bang, bang. It's going to be more of just a bang. And so they mark it with like a purple marker, and then they is that good? Is that good? Oh, is that good? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm just nervous, because I'm nervous about how my family's going to look at me, how my sister's going to look at it, how my girlfriend's family is going to look at it. So I get it done, and the earrings are in, and I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the earrings. This is me now. because like it's not a phase. These are permanent, and they have to be in your ear for it to officially heal. It's gonna take like 4 to 6 months. Yeah, I was like, whoa, 4 to 6 months. Holy crap. So, yeah, that was fun. But you sign the waiver because the earlobe can be ripped off. How insane is that? I didn't know that people, like, they shoot the gun and they're like, oh, it's stuck. Let me just pull it out. And then they just rip off the rest of the person's lobe. My girlfriend tells me that after I am done with it. And I'm like, thank God that didn't fucking happen. Holy shit. That would be insane. The first time I'm getting my ears pierced and all of a sudden they're just like, your lobe is strong. And they just rip out my lobe. That happens on the first piercing. I'd be like, fuck no, bitch. You're not doing the second one. Fuck no. Are you kidding? I would not. I would be like, no. And plus, if she did it on like this tiny of a earlobe, I wouldn't worry about it. Like I would be worried about it because you'd be like, why, like, how do you even have the job? That the first things first, because this girl had like, also to be at a piercing place, I feel like you have to have multiple piercings, and she did. So she hit my criteria. Like, I'm not getting like a tattoo done by someone who doesn't have any tattoos. You know? I want that person to have like 4 or 5 face tattoos where they're like, yeah, man, this is going to be good. Sorry. Sounds like Stitch is doing your tattoo. It's going to be good. Don't worry. It looks very nice to me. Anyway, people. But yeah, I get my ears pierced. And I was very nervous about my parents. Very nervous about my sister. Very nervous about my girlfriend's family. And I came home like in a shell. I was like, oh, God, this is not going to be good. I texted my mom immediately. You know, I texted her, hey, don't be mad. I got my ears pierced. This is something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I'm sorry. You know, I didn't come in rebellious like, yeah, bitch, I got these done. Huh, look at this ear. Huh, look at this ear. It's not a phase. Like, I wasn't going to do that because I knew that would put me in a worse situation if I did that. And we're trying to really stay on my parents' side right now. So, I even told my dad, I look like I'm severely nervous in front of you because I got my ears pierced and I am so nervous about how you will see it. And they finally figured that out of like, oh, he needs to figure out, because like in this journey, I'm figuring out who I truly am, people. Figuring out who I really am. His name is Robert Brown. He's figuring out who he is through weird things like getting American Dream Mall ears piercing. Ugh. Bad wording from the trailer guy, which is also myself. But we're going over 2 things specifically. I wanted to go over typecasting and also people using ChatGPT for insane things. So we'll go over typecasting first. I like going over pop culture stuff. Typecasting is a specific thing where a actor or actress gets the same exact type of part over and over and over again, or they're only fit for that type of role. So, like the guy who played Steve Urkel, he was pigeonholed in a way, which is also means typecasting, where it was like, all right, like we only see him as Urkel, so we can't put him in anything else. Or let's see, Chris Pratt was typecast for a little bit as the hero, the superhero, like the guy who's funny and also jacked at the same time, like the perfect boyfriend. Like Ryan Reynolds was typecasted in romantic comedies. Rachel McAdams was also typecasted in romantic comedies. But this person who I am bringing up is a little bit different. It's on the mind of every single male who is a Gen Z person, and her name is Sydney Sweeney. So I bring her up, and I'm not, yeah, you know what? I am using her name as like a Mad Lib thing because I hate when people bring this girl up. Hate it because of the typecasting of what is happening with this girl. She wants to be a well-known actress for doing what she's doing. Because that's how, like, when you go into being a actor or actress and you're hitting certain levels of popularity, of, stardom, I feel they want to go for more roles that can change who they are and make them go deep into what their character is. That's how I see it. If I was an actor, I'm not typecasting Sydney Sweeney right now as a specific actor. I'm just saying that usually actors or actresses that go for more bigger roles usually go for the role where it's the Oscar-worthy role. Where, Leonardo DiCaprio was doing that for like a decade when he was doing just nonstop good roles of just, I want the Oscar, I want the Oscar, I want the Oscar. Inception, Great Gatsby, what else? Titanic was one of them. There were so many others, but they just left my head. But he was there for a very long time. Oh, Django Unchained. That was, oh my God. I totally forgot that he was in that for a second. But that's what I'm saying. Like, people are going for, I think of that, where when you've hit that type of stardom, you're going for the Oscar role. Timothée Chalamet did it, where he was going for Marty Supreme, and people hated how he did it. I loved it. We've talked about that before. But Sydney Sweeney, with typecasting, because who is the director? Because I did not, look, hear me out. I'll start off with this. I did not watch Euphoria. I did not watch it. I have gotten highlights of it from people. I've gotten highlights because of the specific scenes that happen in Euphoria with Sydney Sweeney. That's the best way to put it. Sex scenes. She is in too many sex scenes, people. So, experts caution. So, I get this from MSN. Sydney Sweeney being typecasted. Oh, no. And she believes she's not. Experts caution that Sweeney's repeated provocative roles risk defining her brand and narrowing her casting opportunities. And the dude who is in charge of Euphoria, let's see, what was his name? You got to be kidding me. I didn't put down this guy's name? Oh, Jesus Christ. I took out the guy's name. All right. The guy who created Euphoria said at the end of this season, because I know that Sydney Sweeney in season 3 is, her character becomes an OnlyFans model. Shocker, right? And she's doing all these crazy weird things, dressing up in a baby's costume, showing her feet crazily. She's I knew it. You know why I knew it? Because every single movie that I've seen her do well in is her having a sex scene in it. Why? Why? What are you doing to yourself? Look, she's not the one to really go out for women's rights, and, she has her own lingerie brand, but yeah, of course she's going to get typecasted because they're not casting her, they're casting her boobies. her boobies. That's got to be in her contract, people. Am I right? Where they're like, here, hear me out. Let me name, I didn't get the guy's name, but I got all of the ones I listed, all of the movies that I've seen or heard of that have her doing some type of sex scene. Here we go. Not the Levi's commercial. Euphoria. The Housemaid. I saw The Housemaid with my girlfriend, and I literally said, I knew it when the sex scene came on. I said, I knew it. I knew it. This was going to be a part of it. I'm annoyed that it is here because I didn't come here for this. I came here for arguments. I came here to see her really do well. I only saw a couple of the trailers beforehand, but I didn't know the plot of it. And The Housemaid, yeah, it's a dirty book. It's a dirty book. So for the girls who read those types of books, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. You're pretty much you're looking at Pornhub on a book. And who else to cast but Sydney Sweeney? She's the one who gets, bang, bang, banged during this thing. But also, I don't know how to say this one. The Voyeurs, I think it's called. It came out in 2021, and when I looked it up, it said Sydney Sweeney sex scene. So also Anyone But You. That is also a romantic comedy where she has a sex scene in it. It depresses me. And why it depresses me is because she can do so much as an actress, and she's just... her boobs got to be in the fucking contract at this point because it's just... oh, man. Of course you're going to get typecasted, honey. You're saying that you're going crazy into these roles when people are actually doing it for money. Like, the whole OnlyFans thing, like, oh, this, it's really hard for women to do this. And it's like, bitch, people are making millions of dollars a month by doing this. Like, I understand. Look, and I'm not saying that the world of that is not toxic. Yes, that is very toxic. There's definitely people out there who are doing it who really don't want to do it and are just trying to get some type of fame. But if she wanted to get this type of fame, just create an OnlyFans page at this point. You know how much money she would make from it? Like, here. This is a great way to go into my next thing, because I'm going to use ChatGPT for this. But that was my small rant about Sydney Sweeney's typecasting. I believe that she could be a very good actress. I believe that she can really just give her something that's not Madam Web. She was in a Spider-Woman movie and it bombed horribly. So we're going to look into ChatGPT about how much money does it believe that she would make in OnlyFans, which is a great segue to what else I'm talking about, because so many people use ChatGPT nowadays. Let's do this. So how much do you think Sydney Sweeney would make if she made an OnlyFans page? All right, we're going to let that load. But this is what I use ChatGPT for. I give it crazy aspects, and that also means that water is being used for this. I didn't know that as well. They use water to do what ChatGPT does. Look, people, I am not an expert at this stuff. I am not an expert at what Sydney Sweeney is also doing too. So if you get pissed off at that, I'm terribly sorry. But okay, here we go. If Sydney Sweeney ever launched an OnlyFans, nobody can know the exact number, but it would likely be the biggest celebrity launches on the platform. Top creators on OnlyFans have reportedly earned millions of dollars per month. That is very true. Sydney has tens of millions of social media followers and enormous mainstream recognition. A large percentage of subscribers would likely join out of courtesy alone, especially during the launch. So here's the scenario it gives me. Modest celebrity launches, the revenue for it is $500,000 to $2 million, and a major viral launch is $2 million to $10 million. So record-breaking celebrity event, potentially tens of millions of dollars in the first month. Dude, she would make, yes, okay. Sydney Sweeney's level of fame could possibly generate several millions of dollars in its first month. Come on, you can't tell me she wouldn't make like $30 million, $40 million by just doing 1 month of it. And she doesn't have to do the acting part. Oh, man, I'm just being... That's look, people, I'm coming up with hypotheticals because it just disappoints me about the amount of men who just glaze this woman. And, okay, for the old people or for the older audience who are watching this or listening to this, that means that they are fawning over her. They are fawning over her like she's the next Marilyn Monroe, which, don't get me wrong, she's that at this point, you know? I don't, you know, will someone do like an Andy Warhol type of thing of Sydney Sweeney? Maybe. But I'm sorry, Sydney. I apologize. She's just one of those people who I don't like. It's just one of those people. I've even said, like, if I ever got on a podcast with her, I'd say, shame on you. Come on. You're an actress. Did you really say in your acting class, yeah, I wanna go on all fours and get, you know, fucked by a prosthetic penis while, I'm the #1 show in the world? It just hurts. It hurts. It hurts. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the people who do like her out there. But I just used ChatGPT for this, and I want to go in about what people use ChatGPT for. So, excuse me. So, I found a story while researching topics for episodes, and this one, it's heartwarming and also heartbreaking at the same time. So there was a man who was using ChatGPT for medical reasons, and he was just asking it questions and trying to figure out what's going on in life and how is he feeling. And turns out ChatGPT helped him out, because Tyler Barnett spent much time of his life being mislabeled, mismedicated, and misdiagnosed. So he used ChatGPT for this, and he's been told that he was bipolar, he was, he had ADHD, he had depression, anxiety, but now ChatGPT has given him, drum roll please, autism. Yes, that is a thing that gave him the diagnosis of that he has autism. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a little nervous to put that into ChatGPT because of the things that I do and say. It would definitely tell me, it's like, you have autism. You know? I see that happening. But it's a cute story. Look, hear me out. It's a cute story. Labeled gifted as a child and later diagnosed with anxiety, depression, like I said. Never really understood himself for decades. He loved trains. No, I'm kidding. It doesn't say anything about how he loved trains. But maybe he did. Maybe he remembered all the specific dates of television shows, like, Seinfeld ended on this day. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, people. Look, I definitely have touch of the tism, but just haven't been, really diagnosed, because there was a point, I think I went to a psychiatrist, and one of them was like, all these things you're telling me, and you're autistic, right? And I was like, oh, yikes, a little stab to the heart. Ooh, no, pro wrestling is a male soap opera. Okay. No, we're not going to go back to the Sydney Sweeney thing and compare it to professional wrestling because, yeah, no. We're going to stay on the male diagnosis of being, having autism at 42 years old. We need to remember that ChatGPT does not have a true personality. It is something that is based off of facts. So we're having a conversation with Google or Siri at this point. Remember Siri? Remember when Siri came out? That was amazing. Siri, you could be like, what's the weather? And it would say, the weather is going to be sunny and with a little bit of clouds. So, it's something like that, but now people are just having full-blown conversations with it. People are having relationships with it. Have you seen that? Have you seen the people who are, like, cheating on their wives with ChatGPT? They're like, talk to me dirty. And it's like, I took off my wires to show my big tits. But look, hear me out. I looked up how many people are using ChatGPT to diagnose themselves or use it for over like how they use it medically every single day. Instead of going to a doctor, they just throw it in. 40 million people every day. 40 million people are going on to ChatGPT and are like, I'm sick. What do I have? And it's like, cancer. And then they're like, oh, shoot, I have cancer. Oh, no. And then they go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, my ChatGPT said, yes, that's true. Doctors are also using ChatGPT. How many doctors? I don't think I got it. 72% of doctors are using artificial intelligence in their clinician practice. Look, people. My ChatGPT, because that means you're going to the doctor and you're like, look, my ChatGPT told me that I was having bad diarrhea, so my arm's broken. And then they go, well, my ChatGPT says that your arm's broken because of these specific things. So let's have them talk about it. That will happen someday, where our ChatGPT is going to talk for us, maybe. We'll all have autism at that point. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, people. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's scary. It's very scary with the things that people, because look, I use it too. I'm a hypocrite. I know. I use it too. I'm not one of those people who are like, don't use AI at college graduations. Don't use AI, guys. I still need a job, please. But I use it for organization skills. I am not good at organizing. I have notebooks on notebooks on notebooks of material of, I use it like an author. I think I've said this before. I use it like an author, like a celebrity has an author, and then they also have another author to help them out. That's what I use it for. But I'm not typing in yo, I can't see with my glasses. What am I going to do? No, because then, first things first, I have the free plan. So when you ask it a lot of questions, it gets a little bit dumber because, it still wants you to talk to it, but, it's just not, one time it was telling me, I was going through, because, I like giving it show ideas, I like going through, I want to do this live someday in front of people, so please let me know if you want to go to that. I, will give it suggestions should I do it here? Should I do it there? Should I have setups like this? Should I have setups like that? It gets dumbed down, and then one time it told me like I can't help you with that. It is no longer you're getting the dumber version, and the dumber version doesn't have as great of a memory. And I literally said to it, I said, I will use a different AI. I will use Grok. I will use Claude. I will use something else, and I will never use you again. Boop. It started working again. That thing was like, oh no, I'm gonna die. Which, I would have to ask my girlfriend about how Age of Ultron is very connected to it, because it is. If people don't know what I'm talking about, it's the Marvel Age of Ultron. Ultron is a robot that I know that Tony Stark creates, but it becomes stronger and it starts taking over the world pretty much, because it's a robot that is able to do so many things, and it has the power to do everything. It's like if we were able to use 100% of our brain. Like, at all times. That's the best way to put it. Like, it's like Google was walking around with us. Like Siri, Siri had sex with Google, and then ChatGPT came out, but then, it started hooking up with Claude, and now that one also had a child, so Claude and AI. But then, Grok started hanging out with their child, and now it's become a full-blown robot person. It was hanging out with, Google AI on the side. No, because then that means that it would be incest, because Google was its great-grandparent. Oh, God. You know what? You get what I'm saying. It's going to become a part of our everyday life. I believe the two examples of it is Age of Ultron and WALL-E. I think of WALL-E all the time. I think about how they're all in their one little seat, and they are watching their own entertainment. They're talking to people through a screen, like through Zoom, even though they're next to each other, watching multiple things go on at the same time that robots are doing. And they're on this big spaceship, and the big spaceship, you're able to create daytime and nighttime, and you're able to reverse the time if you want. It's just dopamine is what it looks like. It looks like short-term dopamine all the time. And I went through a phase where I was only using short-term dopamine for everything, because I needed that quick fix, And that's what WALL-E looks like is all about, and that's what AI gives us. Is just, I know I'm snapping a lot, but it's like bang, bang, bang. Like, I need this, bang, it's right there. Show me this movie that was unreleased and couldn't be seen for years, but now it's on the internet. Bang, there it is, right there. That used to be conversations that people had of like, yo, there's a hidden, video, rare one going out there, and you got to see it. Rare means now that, like, something has been posted and it only has a certain amount of views. Like, my podcast is rare, technically. It's rare to watch because it's new and it's different and it only has a certain amount of views. That makes it rare. That's what rare is now. Rare is like finding an influencer before they blow up. Isn't that weird? You think to yourself, oh man, I knew this person before they were big. Because, like, after that, they're well done. After the peak, and then some influencers go down, and then people are like, why are their views down? Oh, it's just the term rare is getting, is it a thing anymore? Because, like, I mean, rare is now with Pokemon cards and baseball cards and all that, but, like, rare is only in physical copy now. Because it's like, oh, there was only 10 of these made. But when you post something on the internet, that means that even though you only posted it, that means that millions of people can still see it if they're able to share it correctly. Meaning this page now posts it, and this page posts it, and this page has this amount of followers, this page has this amount of followers. Like, for instance, you post it, but it's really cool, so you get you get something from it, but then other pages see it, so then that blows up. Because think about it, streamers have clippers now, not the scissors, not the people who cut stuff. It's literally people will be watching their stream. So for instance, if someone was watching what I'm doing right now and would take all of the best moments and then post them on channels that they created for that person, so then more people can see it. It's weird. There's no longer a what rare is. Rare can be, like, for instance, it's rare, like, like nothing. Independent film can be maybe rare, but then when it's blown up, that's it. When everybody sees it, that's it. There's no, independent film's gonna have its moment, but independent films are blowing up right now. I talked about it on the last podcast, how 2 YouTubers beat out Mandalorian and Grogu because the thing of what YouTube used to be, which was, hopefully someone will see this and then will take on what my ideas are, is now, no, they don't want that. They're just going to gatekeep what I'm doing, so I'm going to do it myself. Just like what Markiplier did. I think I know I'm saying his name right, but he created an independent film as well last year, this year, and it blew up. It did well. It beat everyone out in the box office. I've seen almost all of the blockbuster movies this year. I mean, I saw Michael. Michael was on Mandalorian, and it's disappointing. Sorry, my phone buzzed. Can't be on your phone while you're recording, people. It's a big thing. But rare is becoming, instead of good value, rare is becoming a decline, I feel. It's rare for me to go to the movie theaters. It's rare for me to not be on my phone at a concert. It's rare for me to, not watch something when it's happening live, because or sitting down and, like, for instance, there was a thing called appointment television. We learned about it in college. I learned about how people, when Seinfeld was on or when Friends was on, you sat as a family on your couch and you would watch it. There was a thing called Sopranos night for some people. Yes, that's right. The show that everybody loves in New Jersey. And they all go, gabagoo, oh, that whole thing, making everyone look Italian in New Jersey when we're not. I am not Italian. I am Irish and English. Anyway, but Sopranos night was a thing for people where you go over to someone's house who has HBO and you turn on HBO right when The Sopranos is watching. And then you go and you talk about it with people, and that was the big thing, Oh my God, did you see The Sopranos last night? Blah, 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 blah. That's what they used to teach us in college. They just be like, you guys got to make stuff that is water cooler talk, where, it's literally like, did you watch this podcast last night? Did you? No, it's now like, oh, I haven't seen it yet. That's on my list. What the fuck is a list at this point? A list just means, oh yeah, like, I don't really want to watch it, but it looks cool because everybody else says it looks cool, so I think I want to watch it just so then I can have this conversation a little bit later on. Like, what? Media is so different now. Like, I thought about doing streaming and stuff because, like, to me, that's what radio is now. the biggest radio people technically now, if it's streaming, because hear me out. Radio was about radio waves. So if your show was syndicated, like Howard Stern, he was on multiple radio stations. So people used to think, oh, I'm getting Howard Station on Detroit, or, DC, he was on DC 101, and he was on K-Rock. That's an old radio station for people who are, younger. 92.3 K-Rock, that's what I think that's what it was. Oh, all the people who were living back then are like, no, it wasn't. But he was syndicated to multiple radio stations, so the frequency that you got, he could be on. And so, of course, he had the most amount of views because that's, you tuned in, maybe he was on for 4 hours and 4 to 6 hours he was on, and you could get the show. You could, all right, this is him. I'm going to listen to him during my drive. Streamers, you could be like, oh, like Kai Cenat used to do a streamathon where he would be on stream until he got a certain amount of subs. So that used to be a thing on radiothons. And radio, like, for instance, I can go on Kick or Twitch right now, and I can be like, well, like, do I want to look up iShow Speed? Here we go. Well, I think he's on YouTube now because he showed his on Twitch. But, iShow Speed, I want to watch iShow Speed right now. And, yeah, you can watch him right now. That's how it was with radio. Or, live TV. That's why, like, some people are like, streaming is the thing. You gotta stream. Because that's the only way we're getting live things. People are watching people on purpose. They use the Truman Show to be, they use the Truman Show to be like, oh my God, like this could be such a bad thing if people owned you, like if someone owned a TV show, and bro, that's gonna be happening. You don't think like someone's gonna create a Twitch because they're parents and they want to stream the entire kid's life? That's gonna happen. You don't think that's not gonna happen? Look at the amount of people who are doing Instagram just for their kids and the family, and they're telling them, smile, we're doing a whole video, because they don't know, but thousands of people are watching you and actually really like what you do. And you're like your little quirks. Not just me, but Dave in Missouri. Like, what the fuck? Wow, we went on a huge rant about AI and all that, and it was about how a guy just was 42 years old and diagnosed himself with autism from ChatGPT. Human interaction, people. That's what I bring up. Is just straight human interaction. I am a Gen Z that grew up with people who my parents cultured me in the way of the 90s and the way of the 80s about how life used to be, and I grew up thinking that it was going to be the same thing, and it's not. So, think about it. When Back to the Future Part 2, none of them have they have big things like, oh my God, the Cubs win the World Series. Yes, that's great. But none of them have iPhones. None of them have like, oh, I can listen to any song of whatever have come out. I can listen to unreleased music that this artist, like I listened to unreleased music of Kanye, and Kanye didn't want this to come out, but I could still listen to 2 hours worth of it. But in Back to the Future Part 2, there's 3 fax machines. We don't even use them. Jeez Louise. All right, time to end the podcast with one of my favorite songs. It's Olay! Ole, 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 ole. Olay! Nope. Shut it down. Shut it down. It's all over. Come on, this podcast is over. Please let them know where they can reach out to us and like and subscribe. This podcast is over. That is enough. Stop it. Stop it right now.